Going live. Well, today it happened. We were rocking and rolling. To be honest, I wasn't getting a ton of work done because we were having a fairly spirited conversation. Let's see here. In fact, let's take a look at the comments on Discord. Okay, so Tom posted a couple things. Let's take a look at this. Let's just take a couple minutes and look at this. This is good stuff. Votes in a democracy is required for someone to be elected. It's a peaceful way to choose a leader. Yeah, and for sure, at least as far as I can tell, the current president was democratically elected. Demographics, the raw numbers that determine outcomes. Dividing up population of a country by identities. Targeting a specific demographic by promising them free stuff is a tactic to win votes. Absolutely, of course that's true. Yes. Taking and giving based on unalterable identity characteristics is divisive. Totally agree with that. That's assuming, though, of course, that the unalterable identity characteristics are in fact the crux of the decision, as opposed to one factor that may inform the decision. There is no discussion or planning for what concludes this DEIA agenda. When will the problem it claims to address be resolved? I don't think it ever will. Actually, not really. And the reason is because, yeah, the stream is still clocking. Yeah, what happened was we're, will you knock it off? No, we were jamming away, and then the internet went out. It went out for about 4 hours. So, will you knock it off? No, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, why not? Why can't we educate ourselves and learn? Tom's got opinions. He's got a right to those opinions, and sometimes he has some pretty good thoughts. So, however, having said that, the main priority, of course, remains cranking on the show. So, well, here's what happened. Well, when the internet went out, I had to do... I did a difficult shot. So this was the last shot I was working on, right? Which I was pretty happy with. And then I thought, okay, I realized to get to what I want to get to, I need... Okay, yes, that's correct. Okay. So this was tricky because I needed the first frame of this shot to be exactly the same as this last frame of this shot. And it worked. So this is the way it flows. It's pretty cool, actually. I smacked a bunch of motion blur on it, cut in Melchizidek, and there you go. And then I knocked out this shot and this shot while I was offline. So thank goodness I can still make progress. And Ross, I tell you, dude, chill out, man. I don't get it. What's not chill? What is not chill? To talk about things that are directly affecting our lives there's nothing unchill about that. Psycho crazy animations. Hi, Dave. What's up? Well, what's up is apparently we're having an argument because the question is it okay to talk about the political or socio-cultural situation here on a channel that's ostensibly devoted to animation? And the answer is yes. Yes, of course it is. Why? Because we can talk about whatever we want. I'm still going to be I don't even care what your opinion is. I'm still going to be, friends with you. I may disagree with you vehemently, but not speaking about you, Ross, specifically, not at all. I'm just saying, I can generally be quite strongly in disagreement. And I mean, that's the only way we figure out what we think constitutes good policy is we talk about it. It's not a big deal. Whoopsie, hit the wrong key. So, anyway, back to Wake. What do we got? Okay, so here at the end of this one, we should insert a keyframe to just kill everything so that we've got a clean slate to work on. And then let's see what's going on. Oh, looks like we're already inked. So we've got Vespar and Yeah, I mean, obviously, if people don't like what I talk about on my channel, they're not going to listen to my channel anymore, are they? They're just going to say, screw this guy. Get out of here. And I would totally respect that decision. That's a completely reasonable decision. Okay, so let's say 1 second forward. Blook, blook. Okay, so I would say, I wonder if we've got a straight on shot of Vespar. I don't remember that. Maybe. Forget it. I'll just redraw it. Okay. So, a Dave rant is healthy. That's what I think too. I mean, I like your. I'm going to read those PDFs you posted, Tom, because I do want to get the other perspective. I mean, you can be sure that Valerie gave me an earful and, you know, about these topics, because she can take anything I say and kind of multiply it by 10 because she does all the research, and she is autistic and she does research copiously. If she says this is the way it works and this is the way it is, I can tell you, especially early in our relationship, which now would say the first 5 years, I'd be like, yeah, you're full of it, right? Come on. And then I would go and kind of vet something she told me, and I swear to God, like with very few exceptions, it always turns out she knew exactly what she was talking about. She did the hard homework that most of us are not going to do. Free energy for all. That would be good. It wouldn't be good for everyone, though, right? It really wouldn't. Free energy for all would not be good for everybody, because it is true that people that work for, I don't know, INM Power, who gives us our power in Indiana, you know, some of those people might be out of a job. So that's potentially a concern. Okay, so he says, finally. All right, did we put his mouth on its own layer? No, we did not. So I'm going to go to the lines layer, solo this, and clean his mouth off. Because we don't want a mouth here. Absolutely not. So yeah, I'm killing time. We've got a family Zoom in about a half hour, actually. UBI. You know, I tell you, Tom, when Val and I were talking, we both agreed that this is not the time for that. It was out for about 4 hours, Amar. But yeah, we agreed. Actually, UBI, the time for that is not upon us. There are some things that you can. For those who don't know, UBI means Universal Basic Income. In other words, you're going to make let's say $60,000 or $70,000 a year for your household, kind of like no matter what, because that's like the basic, not just living wage, but essentially the amount of money you need to basically be happy in America, you know, according to the stats that probably were arrived at quite a few years ago. So it could be that the number would want to be updated a bit. But no, the things we would like to see are, number one, a really strong focus on education, and preferably free education. You have to earn it. You would have to earn it, okay? So if you're going to get a college degree and not have to pay for it, like, by the way, it was back in the 60s, basically pre-Nixon, if I'm remembering correctly, then, you know, you got to get the grades and sort of earn your way into it. It's kind of what they have in Germany. I mean, it's sort of a merit-based system where your potential vocation in life is pretty much determined by how you do in school. And then that puts you on a higher education path that pretty well dictates what you'll be doing vocationally within a range of vocations. So I have a dear friend who, she was a foreign exchange student with us back around 2000. And, you know, she did well and wound up becoming a physician. No, for me, Tom's just being snarky now. No, not UBI. What we would like to see is, definitely we'd like to see universal health care, probably Medicare for all. And the reason for that, you can analyze this to death, and all the data shows that the way insurance works, when insurance works well, the whole idea and the way that it works well is that it's based on a very large pool of people, right? And the people that suck more out of the system sort of compensate for those who don't. Like in my case, you know, how much money have I spent in the last 5 years in terms of medical services? You know, maybe a couple $100. I mean, it's like nothing. So I'm not a drain on the system. But I understand that there are people who are. And for me, that's okay. I don't mind that my, let's just call them insurance dollars, are going to, you know, hopefully contribute to the well-being of other people. That's okay. I don't mind. I think most people feel that way. We don't mind having a bit of a collectivist mindset. That's okay. What we don't like is dipping our toes in the water of collectivism, and by the way, if you're going to say both the Republicans and the Democrats are guilty of this, you would be correct. What we don't like is moving in that direction, and then it turns out it's all just a grift, you know, it's just a money grab of some kind. That's what's problematic. So, yes, like you see in, say, the Nordic countries, where I know, sometimes in Norway, you still kind of have to wait in line to see a specialist. That is true. And that's coming from someone from Norway. Secondhand, it was a report that came to me from my son. But it's a legitimate point. It's not perfect. But on the other hand, in the United States, because of our basically putting, I guess, how do I say this in a way that's not inflammatory? Putting the capitalists, look, like capitalists have an agenda, okay? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having an agenda. Everyone has an agenda. Okay? So it's not a problem. But when that's the primary consideration, potentially at the expense of the greater collective, then potentially you're asking for trouble. Let's see here. We want to go to Vespar. Let's just get this guy colored in. Now, I got to think about this for half a second. Do we want to go... Okay, so really, what I think I want to do is come over here. Let's duplicate this. Oops. Let's duplicate this half a second later, and then give ourselves a little bit of a, just a little bit of a move into it. Should that be tweened? Well, it's only 2 frames. I mean, 1 frame in between, actually, so what the heck. Got to be in draw mode, forgot. Control-Shift-E. Okay, so the shot would begin just with a little bit of a motion. I actually think that should be even a little more extreme. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is, let's just say, let's do it this way. Where is my doggone? I find I remember better if I do it over here. There we go. Universal basic income, no. Medicare for all, yes, because it leverages the entire basically cash pool that's going into healthcare, and it also provides a natural regulatory climate where the kinds of things you see with like like insulin prices and things like that, right? I think to an onlooker, the idea that that we can't negotiate with the drug companies seems like, oh, come on, that can't be that big of a deal. But if you actually follow the money and the process, it's kind of a big deal. So I am going to take this whole bit and shift it 1 frame downstream, maybe 2. Let's go 2. Yeah, take this, go here, And then what I'm going to do is go here and put a blink in there. And then, of course, the dude does kind of sort of need some eyebrows. We want to go like that so that we can start erasing, create a new keyframe that leverages what was already there on the screen. So yeah, education would be huge, particularly higher education. Creating incentives for people to study the things that we actually need, which is kind of in the STEM arena right now, especially if we're going to be doing battle with Canada, which clearly we are. Then, you know, a lot of times we're designing stuff in the United States, but the actual engineering of it is happening in Canada. And so if we're gonna go down the road we're going down, then we do need more good STEM candidates in the USA that are, you know, we need to cultivate some good quality engineers stateside. Okay, so this should be a blink. So why don't we go into edit mode? We'll just grab these bits right here. So yeah, education. Number 2 would be in the healthcare arena. And those are probably the biggies, actually, as far as social issues that maybe could use some attention. Anybody who's going to claim Obamacare is perfect, I think, is out of their tree. But then again, even as a progressive kind of guy, I never claimed Obamacare was perfect. It is better than what we had before, in my opinion. And that's just from multiple years of paying for insurance from United Healthcare, what they called Golden Rule back then. And you know, I've in all these years, well, let's say the last 25 years, I've had one medical event. And I could tell the story, it would make you cringe to learn how startlingly incompetent the people in the hospital were. I'm referring to doctors, like cardiologists and nursing staff. It was scary, actually. Very scary. On multiple levels. So I won't expand on that unless, you know, you beg me to. Beautiful. Okay, so this should be later. This should be finally. Okay, so technically that should actually have a blink in front of it as well, I suppose. So let's do that. We'll just go like that. Instant magical blink. Okay, oh my goodness. Amar, you are, when insurance should go into a pot, you can make money on it, and insurance companies need locked in to pay the benefits out without question, versus dropping people, lawyers and powers and blah 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 blah. Yeah, and in per your comment at 601, I had to use it once. Well, I mean, technically, I guess twice. Twice because Kyle was born, and it wouldn't have been covered at all, but there were complications during the actual delivery. So because of that, the insurance did kick in. So it was somewhat useful, to be fair to the good folks at United Healthcare. Okay. So, did I do all of that on the correct layer? That would be good, Dave. You want to do things on the correct layer. Going to bed? Val's crashing. Night night, babe. Oh. Okay. So let's just do the sculpting thing. We'll just do the sculpting thing for Mr. Scally Pants. And then here, I guess material-wise, I really should be using charcoal ink filled D key. And we're going to turn this off so that it starts creating blank keyframes. So he says, finally. Right. But, in all reality, he would probably blink again right around here, but probably the shot will be cut before we get that far. Okay, so a little bit of a correction here. I'm going to go into sculpt mode. I'm trying to reach over there. Oh. Wrong layer there, Jack. So, yes, I just want to round that out a little bit. Dangerous behavior, since I have to make those two frames match, which I pretty much did. Okay, so now we'll quit fighting it and just do the sensible thing here and use our sculpting tools. Ooh! Yeah, that is problematic. Actually, this is where I should probably turn on the... This would be prudent. Turn on the skins. Groovy. And back off again. Alright, what do we got? Yeah, there was a little bit of a tweak there, right there. I'm thinking maybe we can probably get away with that, but let's see. That's better. Perfect? No. Better? Yes. Okay. Same goes for health insurance and other insurance. Yeah, all insurance. Basically, insurance works best when there's lots and lots and lots of people on the program. Yeah, I mean, your last comment, I'm going to say that is difficult. It is difficult. I guess I'll leave it at that. I better take a look on the script at what happens after this. Okay, so Tobias is like, now, I'm sure the staff is doing their best. Okay, so that's back here. Okay, cool. So we just need to get this dude colored in and rendered. 6:10. Got our Zoom call in about 20 minutes. So let's go to the fills layer. And we're going to try to do something magically wonderful, which is we're going to try using multi-frame and see if we can get away with it on the fill operations. I'm not holding my breath here. So we want the vertex color material in the vertex color mode. We've already got Vespar, I guess, on the screen. Okay. We can't do multi-frame. I didn't think about that. You could only do multi-frame where keyframes already exist. Didn't think about that. So I guess it's not possible unless we were to do all the fill operations on the same layer, which we're not going to do. We are not going to do that. Do we want to... I'll hand draw the the whites of his eyes. Oops. And that should work. Cool. Back to the... Oh my gosh. Amar, you gotta wait and let somebody else weigh in and become better students of America the business. Learning the law is very young. Well, okay, so Amar's getting into some actually pretty good points in the sense that this is something I've always really tried to do with my kids. Like I encouraged all my kids at the earliest opportunity to form their own corporations. You know, understanding things like that and being comfortable with it is super valuable. Why don't we have a color for Vespar's hair? That's kind of weird that that didn't make it into the palette. Okay, so your 612 comment, that's kind of how Kyle's school was. Because he was in Montessori Um, and all the credit, by the way, goes to my ex-wife, because when Kyle was like 8 years old or something, they have a. This is actually a good example of. Well, it's not like DEI, I guess, but it's. Here's the deal. Basically, for whatever reason, the Fort Wayne community just has agreed that having some kind of lottery system that allows people who couldn't necessarily afford to go to Montessori school have the opportunity to do so. So there's a lottery. Not everybody that does it gets to go, because it's kind of random. And Kyle got lucky. And if you happen to be fortunate and are able to do that, then you're in for life, basically, through your whole school career. So he went to Montessori school for middle school, and then when he got to not elementary school, but for middle school it was Montessori, and then his high school was New Tech. And the way the New Tech schools work is they kind of treat the classroom like you said. It's very project based, it's team based, it's focused very much on practical. I know why the palette thing. It's because we have all these colors here. I forgot about that. Let's just run with it. Boom. I'm not going to overthink it. And why did it do that? Well, I can tell you why it did that, because I forgot to switch to that. Sorry. Okay. And since Vespar's skin is here, we'll see now if there's actually a difference between the two skin tones. It looks like there's not, so that's good. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, New Tech. It was a good school experience, we feel, for our little boy. And at this point, he's 1 year away from graduating. And he's studying, he's studying cybersecurity, but basically, that can go off in a lot of IT type directions and stuff, just depending on what you want to do. Do. Forgot to color his skin there. Okay, then we have, let's look at I'm looking at the other screen. Okay, so it's kind of a tan color. I'm looking for a close-up of Vespar. I guess I could turn the preview on. I'm looking for just a shot, just to get my bearings on his color scheme. Oh, yes. So he's got the tan thing with the little sort of texture to it. Got it. So back to Blender, and I guess leather armor. Might as well go back to the start here. Leather armor. Pidoof. I guess I don't need to. Well, I guess I do need to do that, don't I? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is why you have so many people that have nothing more than a grammar school or high school education that are billionaire, successful business people. They learned the business early, were mentored, and was given or found the space to explore early on. Well, if you believe that, then it's very important, in my opinion, that you also believe that it's never too late to learn those things. That's my opinion. I mean, come on. I'm still learning stuff all the time. Don't you think because you didn't get the advantage when you were young that it's too late? It's never too late. And if you feel like it is too late, then all you have to do is look around and find one person, just one person, who maybe shared your disadvantage but yet decided to, improve their situation, and did. Well, if there's even one example, that means it's possible. I mean, who thought, at my age I'd be freaking, making cartoons? Come on. I've had no advantages in life as far as I'm concerned. really. I mean, I was, golly, do I even want to go there? Okay, so we have a little problem. Let's turn that like so. Go into sculpting mode. That really needs to be raised a bit. And unfortunately, see that? We can get away with a little bit because there is stuff going on. Like a little bit of variance is okay. Remember, old school anime, there would have been people tracing every one of these frames by hand, and there's always going to be a little bit of variance between them. So it's not a big deal if there's a little bit. Just not too much. Yeah, I mean, it's... This type of environment would bring for more community and private industry. I guess I'll make a controversial statement. My controversial statement would be, okay, wait a second. How did that... How did that happen? Oh, we've got... Well, okay. I guess what we'll do is we'll make that match, and we'll probably be okay. But of course, we need to fill in his eyes. You silly goose. Not ideal, but not a disaster either. Okay. Go Vespar. Okay, so just so for those of the who are like keeping score and looking for techniques and stuff, I would say this: if you have a situation like this where you've got a little bit of a wiggle in your lines or something because you had to match a line and didn't do it perfectly, like right there, you can see the back of his head, you can see the hair warble a little bit. The way I would combat that is, I'll show you, just like this. I would draw a lasso around all of these, which includes his mouth, and then go into multi-frame mode. And just give him a little shift. That will distract from that flaw. See? Now you don't even notice it. Easy peasy. Okay, so we gotta get to shadows. What time is it? 6:21. I've got 9 minutes to make some magic here, friends. 9 minutes. Can he do it? Can he do it? Maybe. I definitely want to turn these stupid onion skins off, though. I don't love the onion skins. Where are the onion skins? It looks like they're in the fill layer. Why am I... Oh, it's because I'm in multi-frame mode. Sorry about that. My bad. My bad. I'm a fool. Okay. Shadow layer. Got the right material. We're in business. We are in biz. I think what I'm going to do... Why? Oh, I see. Okay, so let's stop everything right now while we've got the opportunity and kill all these keyframes. These were obviously generated when I had the layers not soloed, such that when I did the sculpting, it put keyframes on the shadow layer, which I didn't want. So now by getting rid of that, I only have to, add new keyframes when there's a reason to. I just made a mistake, unfortunately, but that's alright. It'll be easy to fix. I need to get that in there. Same thing. I'm going to draw it all. Poof, poof, and poof. And then there, let's just go like that. Okay, we're not done, but we're close. So let's go back here, and then ask ourselves, where else might we need some shadows? How about that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm having daydreams about night things in the middle of the afternoon. Yep, talking a little bit this morning about old Ronnie Millsap. Because that song was ringing through my head for reasons I can't even begin to explain. And it was bugging me. Who the hell did that song? I know who did that song. I couldn't think of who it was. Alright, so let's go to 12:45 and make that the end. And see if we like this, okay. Finally. That's it. Okay, so what do we got? 6 minutes? Okay, let's go here. Let's go to the RAM drive. Boom. Select everything. Delete it. Kill. Go back to Blender. Control F12. Let's render him out. Let's go back here. Look at the show. See what we got in terms of the backgrounds. Well, I'm going to have to go back a ways here. I really need to go back to when they were conversing. Okay, right here. I need to steal the background from, what is it? 03-91E. Okay. File, open. 03-91E. There it is. Open that up. And we'll just take Vespar out. It could be that this won't work, wonderfully. But usually it does. Usually it does. Go to the RAM drive. Boom. Grab all of these guys. Open them up. Bring them in. It's going to put it in the wrong place. And Krita will, of course, forget to pin it to the... This, okay, obviously didn't take into account him moving around a lot, so... Boy, that's obnoxious. Gee, when I did it the first time, it seemed like it looked pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go A, liquefy, and just kind of push that back a little bit. I want to tone that down anyway, so moving it off him a bit is probably not the worst thing. When we saw this before was several minutes ago in the show, so it's not like anybody's going to remember the prior, environment lighting and go, oh, that doesn't quite match there, pal. Okay. This is now going to be saved as File, Save As. We're almost done here. W. So this is going to be New Folder 0392X. 03-92-X. Right. Right. Cool. Go to render mode. Change that to an X. Actually, no, it's not quite that simple. It's not 9.1, it's 9.2. Gotta remember those details, friends. Remember those details. They will get you. And render. Okay, so he does move his head a little bit. Arguably, you could actually argue that that's Mel's shadow that's being cast on him because he came up to the table. For now, I'm going to run with that because I need to wrap this up. So I'll put this on the docket for a second look tomorrow morning. And for now, we're going to jump over to Vegas, pop in here, go to the X files, open the sequence, 8 frames per second, bring it in, turn off the resampling, and what do we got? Not bad. I think I'm gonna address that shadow issue tomorrow, though. Okay, that's it. I gotta go, and you guys have a great evening. Thanks for hanging out, and